scaffolding dangerous?
Because I've got to deal with our managers, I've got to deal with my own players, I've got to deal with supporters who can get built up very easily.
Dennis has been along to talk to manager Alex Ferguson about the pressures that he and his team are under, especially after such disappointing results as the 1-0 defeat at Norwich 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I think that's quite right that we should be under pressure. We really should expect more from Manchester United. And I can fully understand a lot of disappointment after the Norwich performance, and also by being beaten in the 2 cup ties at Oxford and Arsenal. So quite rarely there's got to be pressure put on us.
Do you feel that the team is stronger now than it was when you took over?
Well, obviously that if you look at on the statistics side, I think that you would have to say that, you know, that's second bottom of the league the week I came, and now we're second top, so you could say that, but I don't really judge it that way. I mean, I think that I have my own standards of what I'm after, and I'm disappointed with the position we're in. I must say that. The one thing at this place, the whole thing is there. We know the direction the club has got to go to get there. I know it. I mean, they're talking about the best players being at Liverpool. We'd want to see the best players here. And for any player in the country, the opportunity to play for this club is something you can't live. It's a wonderful experience. I'm enjoying it. There's been a lot of work done here, Dennis. I mean, at youth level, we've done brilliantly. I mean, we've changed the whole thing, different ideas about how we should go about that part, and that will be recognised in a few years, without doubt. What we have to look at is the first team, and we have to have a pool of players that is going to can handle the whole thing for a whole season. You know, and if you assess us really critically, you would have to say that in some games we've played very well, but it's just some is not enough, is it?
Ryan Robson into McClare. Now here's a chance. McClare, yes, a goal for Manchester United by Brian McClare.
Is it a problem living in the shadow of Matt Busby?
Quite honestly, I don't even worry about that. I don't even look at it. I don't think it's important to me. I think what's important to me is the tradition and the success of the club.
Says your first 18 months here.
It's a hard job. It's a very hard job, and as I say, what is sometimes it has been hard is the shocks you get. You know,
Such as?
well, the defeat in the first half at Arsenal was probably a big shock. I didn't expect that. I was really confident that day. And then I thought even the mood of the players was good. Even though we didn't have Robson, it was we had the fitness test in the morning of the game. And he failed right like that. But I still felt the mood was good, and it shocked me the first half. And they're capable at that times. It's maybe the whole romance of the club that they're capable of reaching great heights or peaks in individual matches, but capable of, as I say, shocking you by a bad performance. And what we have to do is to try and retain the excitement of Manchester United, try to keep that in the club, obviously, but also try and get a bit of realism and regular performances out of them, consistency more or less, you know. I find it difficult to handle the media in the sense that the speculation attached to the club. And I really have to do my job correctly in that I don't want to be part of the speculation, because I've got to deal with other managers, I've got to deal with my own players, I've got to deal with supporters who can get built up very easily.
There's been a lot of speculation regarding Mark Hughes coming back to Old Trafford.
That's simple and easy to talk about, because for a long time now, and only because of his tax problems, I may have had him here, but we're now come to the end of a season and where Mark is on loan to Bayern Munich, and I think quite rightly, I think we're doing the right thing. We're trying our best to get Mark back here. Even Manchester United shouldn't sell his best players, and I know there's a big threat from abroad, but while they're under contract, they'll remain here. And in the case of Mark, I would like to make sure he comes back.
Alex talking very frankly there, Dennis, but the basic thing which must astound people is that with all, if not more of the resources than Liverpool have, why can United not emulate the Anfield success, do you think?
I think Liverpool have looked far much forward than any other club. They look forward 2 or 3 seasons when they buy a player to take over from players who are actually at their top in the team at the moment. They look that little bit further. I mean, I was talking to Alex, he knows what he wants, and if he is realistic in challenging Liverpool for the title next season and in the seasons to come, then he's got to be looking at maybe including 4 new players in his squad for next season. I think definitely needs a full-back. He needs a keeper because the keeper is several injuries. He obviously have got the striker, and then he needs a midfield player, I think. So there's 4 new players to come into the side if he's going to challenge Liverpool.
Had it not been for Liverpool, I suppose they might have, but quite a few can say that. Excuses make as much impact at Old Trafford as finishing second. Such is the club's worldwide reputation and charisma. Whoever's in charge has got to find a stylish formula as well as a winning one. It's the toughest job in English football, and it was getting very tough indeed for Alex Ferguson. Not even the consolation of their annual and usually fruitful visit to Anfield.
Down he goes again, it's a penalty this time. So John Barnes, the outstanding individual in this first half, has earned Liverpool a penalty. It's not Aldridge to take the penalty, it's Jan Molby, and he scores from it.
Well, during the close season, Alex Ferguson had paid big money for 2 players, goalkeeper Jim Leighton and centre-forward Mark Hughes. Thankfully, Robbo was still around too, driving United forward, keeping spirits high, generally performing above and beyond the call of duty, wallpapering the cracks created by injuries to key players. They were winning, but they weren't convincing. Alex Ferguson clearly knew what he wanted. Peter Davenport was in the process of scoring 3 times in 4 games. Surprisingly to outsiders, he was surplus to requirements, subsequently moving on to Middlesbrough and financing the deal that brought Mal Donaghy from Luton. Ferguson always envisaged playing Brian McClare up front with Mark Hughes, who only needed a goal or 2 to get back in the old routine. The first was against West Ham. Hughes was off the mark. The reasons for bringing him back were becoming clearer. He'd matured in Spain and West Germany, returning with a far greater repertoire. But even all his round contribution and goals wasn't good enough. United had no trouble scoring, but winning, well, that was a different matter entirely. Squandering the advantage does not win championships. Both Manchester United and Everton were in mid-table when the 2 sides met at Goodison Park towards the end of October. Mark Hughes doing what comes naturally to give United the edge. But it wasn't a very hard edge not so long ago. United were never more vulnerable than when they went in front. The inevitable was provided by Tony Cottee. He and Neville Southall combined to frustrate United.
And Bruce! An emphatic header. McAnally. This is the sort of break that he's turning into his trademark. That is in the middle. McAnally taking on Bruce. And Gordon Cowans has equalised. And Saunders. Some control of the game, and here's Hughes. Oh, and when you need a moment of quality, as Manchester United did, Mark Hughes has provided it. Goddard, well played. To Saunders, a great turn on Robson. Callahan with him. And hammered! Sharp, the advantage played, although the linesman was flagging for the foul. Olsen. McClare! 2-2! And Olsen has made an immediate impact.
Well, at the end of November, United had completed a spell of 7 draws in 8 league games. They were knocked out of the Littlewoods Cup at Wimbledon and all but 2 games they'd taken the lead and failed to hold on. Alex, that must have been the most frustrating aspect of it all, I would have thought.
Yeah, a terrible time, because, you know, I made the point several times, we weren't playing badly, but when you don't win games, at our club, of course, it magnifies, and I think then it eats into the players' confidence. And you're going home at night time and you're saying, oh, where do you put the finger on it? What's the problem, you know? I don't think there was any deep problem. I think it was one of frustration.
Did it affect your confidence at all?
I think lack of success affects everyone's confidence. And I think that the experience I have in management has definitely helped me in that period, because if you didn't have good experience at our club, I think you would melt.
The demands are so great at Manchester United as they are at Wigan, as Graham knows. I just wonder whether you ever felt at any time that you know, your job was in jeopardy.
Well, the media do this, you see, this it's a little game they play, and particularly our club, if we were to win 20 games in a row and lost the 21st, it'd be the old Hatchet job out, and there's a lot of people undesirables in the game.
Did you know the pressures were going to be quite as great when you left Scotland?
No, I didn't realise that, because no one can possibly realise it until they sit in that chair at Old Trafford, and the only ones that can tell you that are the managers that have been here.
How long did it take you to get used to it?
Still trying. No, you get used to it because you adjust and you adapt to it all, and that could happen quite quickly, but you still don't get used to the great expectation thing.
Did you ever panic?
No, never.
Okay.
Do you think I panicked?
I certainly don't think you panicked.
No, I don't think so.
But I'm not close to the club.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Anyway, let's move on. It brings us to the turn of the year, New Year's Day. Liverpool at Old Trafford. United, a 50-50 blend of experience and youth. It was a rousing occasion.
Beardsley. Aldridge has made a run. One side, Barnes on the other. And Liverpool in the lead. And now for Beardsmore. Gone all the way. And a brilliant goal by McClare. United are 1-1. Robbins. Nicol, they claimed handball, not given. And it's in there again. Robbins tries to get in, and Beardsmore. 3-1.
Well, even though mental exhaustion as much as anything contributed to a deflating 1-0 defeat at Middlesbrough the next day, they were soon back on song. Clayton Blackmore began a 3-0 rout of Millwall. The kids rampant. Tony Gill getting his first league goal after getting his first in the Cup at Queen's Park Rangers 4 days earlier. The crowds, which have been disappointing, were on the way back. Well, Mark Hughes, who appears to leave the simple chances to others, preferring to opt for the spectacular, wrapped it all up, the start of a winning 4-game sequence that's brought about comparisons with the great Busby Babes era. And do you think those sort of comparisons are justified?
Don't think so. No, I think that they've got to achieve a lot before that happens. The great thing about young players, of course, is that they don't show any fear. You take, for instance, the equalising goal, the second goal we got at Queen's Park Rangers when young David Wilson attacked Paul Parker. Now, Paul Parker's one of the quickest players in the game, and probably an experienced player would never attempted it. But the boy Wilson attacked right at him and said, "I'm going to beat you."
Has it then been like a breath of fresh air throughout Old Trafford?
Oh, fantastic for everyone, the youth coach and the reserve coach, myself, Archie Knox, the directors, and most importantly, the spectators.
In some ways, is it better to work with kids?
Well, I've always put an emphasis on it throughout my career as manager. I think it's a great thing. Graham and I were talking about it. The job satisfaction, and Graham summed it up perfectly. You know, it's like building your own table, and you know, and you hope to see the final job, and it's shining